You agree with what Twitter's done here?
Absolutely. I think this is about abuse, this is about racism, and this is about trying to stem the amount of radicalisation, especially with young white men in Britain, modern-day Britain today.
It's an interesting situation that you're in, because you were very open on social media and declared all white people racists in the context of a sort of argument about imperialism and how white people have benefited
these are the
from
groups
racism.
that are upholding it.
Right.
And I think that
but you were sacked from your job for those comments, weren't you? Which was that in itself a sort of form of censorship, do you feel?
I think it's very different with institutions when you're when you've got these individuals and these agencies and these businesses that are essentially targeting individual people. Twitter allowing these kind of comments to go out there and people to be targeted, that can't be something that's out there. That can't be something that they're allowing.
If you said that on Twitter, you'd be banned. You'd
Why
be
would
shut
I be
down
banned?
Because
I'm a black woman.
It's not about you being a black woman. It's about what you said about white people. So so in a sense, you'd be.
I was.
So I'm just trying to understand what you're saying.
I was describing colonialism. I was describing.
What you said, Twitter would shut you down.
No, they wouldn't.
But why should you be allowed?
Because I'm not feeding into a narrative.
We had this debate at the time, but why should you be allowed to express an opinion that all white people are violent racists or have that potential?
Yes.
And yet Britain First, which says that all Muslims are violent people, for example, they're now banned.
Because white people aren't oppressed. I'm not feeding into a narrative.
That's double standards, isn't it? Because
No,
at the end of the day,
because
at the end of the day, regardless whether it's Britain First or you saying it, it's out of context. And
no, not really, because these groups are assembled, these groups are organised to feed into a narrative of this alt-right, this neo-Nazism. This is what they're doing, this is what they're carrying on.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
You believe this is censorship and it shouldn't have happened?
Because it's going to push it underground.
It's already underground, though. It's already underground. It's underground and it's over the top. It's everywhere.
I wrote an article about John Holmes, the broadcaster, and it was picked up by someone in Canada who sent me a really vile message on Facebook, used the N-word, swore at me. I reported it to the Met. They traced this individual in Canada and they said, listen, we can't do anything because we don't have the funding, we don't have the facilities. Right. And that's the problem. It's going to push it underground.
But let me throw this
keyboard warriors.
To me, this comes down to freedom of speech debate, right? Look, I've been a journalist all my adult life, right? I believe fundamentally in freedom of speech, and I actually think we're in a massively oversensitive society these days where everyone is offended by everything and tries to ban everyone for an opinion they don't agree with.
For a reason.
But there has to be a limit to me, right? For example, if I said, look, ISIS leader wants to open a Twitter account and put out hateful stuff every day and wants to recruit people, I presume that you would say he wouldn't be allowed to do that.
But that's your view. It's not the view of the...
What is your view? Would you allow the ISIS leader to have a Twitter account spewing hate as a recruitment drive?
When we know that it works as a recruitment
drive. Would you allow it?
It's a view.
Would you allow it?
It's a recruitment drive.
It's a view.
His view is that all people in this country who are infidels, who should be murdered.
That person should be challenged and they should be prosecuted for publishing that view.
But
it's that view. It's not a case. It's not about whether we like it or anyone else. It's about they've published it.
Here's where I think you're wrong. What it is allowing him a massive platform. He would become very popular on Twitter. He would have several million...
What do we do? We shut them down?
No, here's my point. No.
And what's the point?
I don't think you should allow them to spew their hatred as a recruitment drive on a massive social media platform.
Then what's the alternative then? Because at the end of the day, we'll turn Twitter into a communist state.
No, you're not.
And it will become the North Korea of social media.
No. You're not allowing them to spread their hate over a gigantic global platform, which is what Twitter and Facebook are. And to pretend that Britain First, for example, they have meetings where a few hundred people turn up, right? And yet their leaders had over 100,000 followers.
It's about the individuals. It's not about the organisation. That's the point here.
Well, the whole thing needs to be taken down.
It's about getting people. It's about Twitter, Facebook, recruiting more people to vet those individuals, not blaming people like Britain's First or any organisation. So because you put it on your feed, we're going to shut you down.
But just to clarify, Ed, you would allow the leader of ISIS to have a Twitter account? You would?
It's their view.
No, it's not a view. It's a...
No, but Ed, answer my question. Stop prevaricating. Would you allow him to have one?
OK, I wouldn't allow him to have one.
Right. Well, then it's no different with the...
So you accept then that there are limits. You're just disputing where the limit is.
Listen. It's
And for the
about
record-
vetting. Let's get to the core of it. It's about vetting.
Yeah, but it's
but
enforcing
vetting's
that
bad,
vetting as
though,
well.
right?
And there's a big difference between exercising your freedom of speech and abusing your freedom of speech. And these people are abusing their freedom of speech.
Yeah.
You can't just go around calling, targeting, especially black women in the media.
Andre, sorry, I just need to interrupt, just because you've already used words.
I'm not
which we
going to
can't
say it.
broadcast
I'm not
at
going to
this
say
time
it.
in the
I'm not
morning,
going to
so-
say it. But you can't continuously target black women within the media. And every single time that a black woman is on television, especially black women, like myself or Gina Miller or
So what's
Diane
the
Abbott,
solution? What would you say to Twitter?
this
What
is
should
the
Twitter
solution.
do?
This is the solution. Shutting down these accounts
I don't
and
think it's the
stopping
solution because I think it's Twitter being lazy and they're not actually getting.
No,
Well,
see, I don't
no,
agree
I think-
because I think Twitter, unfortunately, started off as quite fun to be on and rapidly descended into a cesspit of abuse. And I totally agree with you. Diane Abbott, for example, my argument with her is when she gives interviews, they're often train wrecks to watch and she doesn't have her briefs in hand, right? But when I see the kind of abuse that is meted out to her online in far disproportionate numbers to a white male politician, I'm horrified and sickened by that.